Alah, teman aku lah kau.
Down you go. Predator dropped.
Oh! Di peta. Dia di peta. Ya atropellando zombie ahora mismo. Un solo me pone un fuego. Yo, Outbreak. Están metidos. Toma. No.
Using pure Ethereum, the dimensional disruptor breaches the dark ether and forces an Apex HVT into our world.
You are authorized to terminate the HVT, strike team. Containment once it's dead is not alive.
Mira lo que el grupo iba a ver lo que estoy haciendo. Nunca creí que me iban a necesitar esto en mi vida. Toma. ¿Qué? Me imagino. sí.
Connection established. Systems nominal. Locking target. Initiating firing sequence. Firing in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, nene portor.
Marking waypoint.
Key has been acquired.
Put him down for good, team.
It's brought some backup.
Oh, change.
Apex target spotted.
Yeah.
Asa! Headshot.
Cosa. ¿Sabes qué hacía? Mira también el grupo, pues.
Sector clear.
Un mago es normal. Pero tiene como una carabela roja. Ay, aguanta más de lo normal, hijo de puta. No sé, viene un portaladito raro. Se olvidó que como estos offline con decir las cosas todo para una cosa. What the fuck? Pedro, pues el niño que
Get
estás
back
viendo.
to it. I want that threat eliminated. Target reacquired, southeast of your position.
Fortnite. Si quieres jugarlo, Pedro, simplemente apaga el internet. Entra a Cold War, da a la zombie, selecciona el mapa, le da a confirmar, lo inicia y después puedes volverte a conectar al internet. Oh, fucking. ¡Puta!
Check it out.
Apaga el internet, te va a la opción del internet y apagar la flecha. Ajá, la apaga. Entra a pues tienes que salir Cold War. Entra a Cold War. Y ya le da a zombies cuando esto está offline
Fully
y
expired.
selecciona uno de los 3 mapas y ya. Uf, 12 de daño. Vamos.
Zombie down.
Voy, sí. ¿Tienes que puedo usar la arma? No. Ese.
This is a powerful weapon.
reacquired southwest of your position.
Apex threat eliminated, Carver.
Nice execution, strike team. Grab the residual Ethereum. You've earned it.
Un poquito.
Tigara brainless.
Pedro. Queda muy poco. ¿Ah? ¿Qué mapa cogí? No, se ve bien bonito el mapa. Yep, me recuerda a Blackout. Oh, el modo está cool, imagínate cómo hacer este ahí como squad de los 4 ahí matándose como loco. Fire Punch. Pues va o no. ¿Va hoy o no? Pedro, mira, mira, Pedro. Ahora estoy en Ruka. Ah, pues en verdad no importa que mapa selecciones. Papi, pues le haces D.
Build up. We've deployed a Dark Ether recon rover near your position.
Strike team, get to the rover and proceed with escort.
Mano, ¿cómo la... ¿Cuánto tiempo que la Play 4 se quede cargando esto?
Neutralize the zombie.
Bueno, estoy por como la ronda 2, por lo que entiendo. ¿Qué es eso?
That one
¿Qué
looks
es eso?
tough.
Un Tempest. ¡Ah! ¡Hijo de! También el apagador remasterizado.
Throwing stun.
¡Hijo de!
Sit this one out.
Ah. Para vagar. Y que ¿verdad? Nunca hicimos el historial de Knockdown. Dead Black 4. Eso. Ah, Pedro hizo la minigun 2 veces en multi. Usé la minigun 2 veces en multi, nada más estaba cantando It's from the end. Está bueno, maté como de 4 balas. Y tienes que obligar a tocar el botón de apuntar si brinca y eso no la puedo usar. O estás tirando y mando cuando te tira un screenshot de bien rara la animación. Mano atropella el zombie.
These recon rovers are critical to research. We rely on the data it transmits to our dimension.
Stay with the rover as it scans for a
¿Dónde
stable
está el monito?
dimensional entry point.
Monkey! 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 A mí no van bajo los frenos. Monkey! Monkey! Pedro, no mires qué está pasando en esto. En la Disney está violando un mono. Into love. Ay, niño. Come on, monkey.
Anomaly identified. Moving to intercept. Stable energy transfer. Stable breach detected. Preparing for jump. Transport initiated.
Dr. Gray, rover is through the threshold. Are you receiving?
Rift has ejected the payload. Get back to the rover. Dimensional exposure is already affecting the vessel.
Stay on team. We need a viable fuel.
Ah, Pedro, no seas como yo, acuérdate de ponerle accesorio a la arma. Por una razón por una razón dije, ah, no voy a poner, no voy a tener accesorios porque son una offline. Oh, verdad, todo, tiene todo desbloqueado.
Temporal anomaly acquired. Changing course to intercept.
Oh, a diablo, estoy a 3 de vida. Por explotarme una granada en la cara.
Cross-dimensional threshold. Dr. Gray, confirm status.
Rift has ejected the payload. Get back to the rover.
We still need to find a stable breach. Continue escort.
Pregunta, ¿hay una que ya tenía planeado? De la nada se le ocurrió y dije, oye, ¿por qué no vamos a hacer esto?
Rocket launchers are definitely effective.
Team outside. Safe escort parameters.
Assault rifle. I approve.
Mira por 4. Esto es un RP de multi bueno. Neta, no tiene rico. Mami, yo tengo una M4 con una mira por 4, what the fuck. Mano, ¿qué es esto?
Infected hostile.
Uy. Y el otro azul aquí.
Marking stun grenade.
Mivito.
Detecting massive dark ether energy presence. Updating route.
I think this is it. That breach should be the one.
Let's get it done, strike team.
Scanning. Successful data link established. We're receiving now. Appreciate the help.
Mira, creo que también. Vamos a ver si regreso el pana de...
Studio broadcast. Chances are you've been jamming on all the content that was dropped with our Season 1 Reloaded update. Well, good news. This week, Season 2 arrives and delivers new multiplayer experiences. Warzone updates. You were able to catch up with Treyarch's Miles Leslie as well as
Ahora ya
Raven's
estoy en el
Ryan
cine.
Burnett, and this is what they had to share.
Weaver, I'm having trouble reaching one of our data station research units.
Strike team, get to the specimen analyzer and investigate.
¿Viste que vamos a ver más que zombies ahora en verdad? Porque se le un challenge que era matar como 10 zombies en Warzone. Vamos a ver si el stream que cambió lo dice. Es muy cool.
Tango fully expired.
Sentry turret available.
This'll do for now.
Puta sea. Fucking River con 90 jugadores.
Nothing better than a headshot.
No, pues voy a estar acá bien. Además, que sí se va haciendo, yo estoy en runa 3, por decirlo así.
My team will complete the specimen analysis.
Roger that, Weaver. Strike team, grab the specimen and place it in the analyzer. The process is automatic and will transmit any
Pedro, no le
genetic
salen en
data
la
to our
cabeza
lab.
esta del Sergi de D-Maxin y de D-Maxin de Fireball. Juego, ¿dónde diablo la pongo? Oh. 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 Mira.
Oh dear. The specimen's retained vocalization abilities. It's sending out some kind of...
Oh.
Call for reinforcements. Get ready for a fight.
Muy bien, vamos a combatir.
data.
Infected hostile.
Mari.
Team down, team down.
Always come up every project like, hey, let's do this. And, you know, I'm just really excited that for Cold War, we have the opportunity to do this. You're able to complete objectives and build your power as you go.
I think it's important to say that this mode is an entirely new way to experience zombies. For the first time ever, you're in these massive spaces and you're moving through them. As opposed to zombies coming to you, you're moving and exploring and discovering things along the way, and you're encountering zombies and enemies. And what is driving you that entire time is completing these objectives that Recommend sent you in there to finish.
No, es imposible unirnos uno al otro, ¿verdad?
Familiar enemies, but at the same time, some brand new enemies that we haven't seen in Cold War. The first is Tempest, which is this electrical crystalline being that really plays to the strengths of this mode, because he tosses projectiles at you and warps around within the massive space. And then we also have Krasny Soldat. We find ourselves constantly losing time when we're playing the game. We're just sitting there and having fun, exploring and driving, using jump pads to parachute.
Ya, yo me conozco online.
The fact that Kevin mentioned driving, it just changes things.
Que le estoy conociendo más en color. Está bueno, está buen modo. ¿Quieres volver a entonces?
Seeing them ragdoll out of the way, that's fun.
Tell us a little bit more about how Tier 4 and Tier 5 abilities kind of get unlocked and expand the gameplay.
Through Requiem advancements, we've been able to expand the powers of all of our skills. So there are now Tier 4 and 5, and you have to go discover and find 2 new types of crystals to unlock these, the Refined and Flawless. This has been an awesome opportunity to go and look at all the various skills, the content, the perks, the field upgrades, and find ways to strengthen them. For example, all the ammo mods now, they're Tier 4s, allow the ammo mod to affect specials. So what that means is now you can potentially brain rot a Mangler or a Tempest or even a Mimic.
That is the most exciting thing for me is that brain rot.
Míralo,
and having a Mimic and having a fight on your side for once. And a Mangler.
Mira que también cambié un video que trae el tío. Vamos a ver si regresa la leyenda de...
Okay, Craig, over to you now. What are you most excited about?
I am neither refined nor flawless. But no, again, I was saying before, it really does continue the story. So we actually get to see our supporting cast, you know, Dr. Strauss, Dr. Gray, and Major Carver. They've got objectives that need to be carried out. You know, there's a narrative element that I think is kind of fun because it is more of a military and scientific operation where you are undertaking these various tasks and experiments and objectives that are going to hopefully give Requiem a better insight into how they can use, potentially harness the powers of the Dark Ether rather than just having to react to it.
Samantha Maxis makes an appearance this season as the operator. If you could tell us a little bit more about what that appearance is all about, how that works.
Maxis has been in the field, you know, throughout the entirety of our Cold War story, and unfortunately on Firebase C, Dr. William Peck confessed to throwing her into the Dark Ether, and she's been in there for an indeterminate period of time because we've already explained that time moves differently within the Dark Ether. So when she comes back, she's definitely changed. I think the first thing that people will definitely see is that her eyes look pretty cool. They have, you know, elements of the Dark Ether within them, but part of the ongoing series could be just a little bit about what has happened to her and what that means for the future.
A ver cómo le brilló los ojos a Samantha en la foto cinemática.
Not just in zombies, but across our other modes as well.
Ya te ves sonríe de Sosita.
I'm looking forward to that enormously just because...
Cuando pones el video de Samantha, no jodas, le brilla los ojos y después te sonríe Sosita.
Remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about that should be coming along here in Season 2 as well.
I mean, this is a zombies classic. It makes its return this game to unleash devastation against the Horde, and it's going to be super useful to have this in some of these objectives and Outbreak where they're in interior environments and you can't necessarily rely on the air-based support.
I know that in Season 2, the team begins introducing some new weapon skills, some specials, some launchers. What's in store for players on that front?
So as we kind of open up the play space and we've been adding more and more specials and elites, the special and launchers weapons will gain weapon skills that allow them to deal more damage to higher difficulty enemies, as well as like deal more damage to their armor. So, this is kind of a new option. Is like I want to bring a launcher or the crossbow around because it's actually very good at taking out the Megaton or the Krasny Soldat. So it adds a lot of value to those weapon classes. The newest field upgrade that we're going to be adding to the mode is Frenzy Guard. What it does is it draws the attention of all the zombies in the area, so they'll attack you. But as you power it up, it gives you all of these tools to deal with the entire horde attacking you. So it's replenishing your armor, and eventually, at its highest power, it's slowing all the zombies in the area. And it's extremely useful in objectives where you have a situation where potentially, a lot of zombies are attacking the defend console, and you just want to pull them all off and make sure that, you're going to be able to complete that objective.
Just out of curiosity, as the team has been playtesting Outbreak, what are you most interested in people being able to play themselves?
Someone on the team who shall remain nameless talked about a game they had last week and described it as the most intense, frightening experience they'd ever had at zombies when they were trying to exfil after they felt they'd been doing great, but they described the experience of running up a hill, feeling that they were about to get out of there and everything was fine, and then were met with advancing horde on a scale that we don't really see in the kind of more room-based, corridor-based kind of typical round-based maps.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Thanks, John.
And that brings us to multiplayer, which means that we are joined by none other than Treyarch's Tony Flame and Matt Schrons to talk weapons, maps, and modes.
Tony Flame.
Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks, John.
El tipo aparece en el minuto
talk to
13.
everybody about all the cool stuff we got coming. A lot of fun tools for everybody from the weapons side.
Well, good. Let's just capitalize on that excitement and jump right in. Let's talk about what's happening on the weapons front starting launch week. It sounds like that there's an AR and an SMG coming everybody's way.
That's how we're starting. We know people love assault rifles and SMGs. As you can see, we're hanging out in the jungle here, and that's going to be a little bit of a theme as we go through all the fun new toys that are coming out for Season 2. So the assault rifle that we have coming out launch week is called the Farah 83, and it's a really unique weapon system. It's intended to be a long-range assault rifle. It's going to have a good fire rate. It can cross over into the LMG category a little bit, what LMGs are good at holding a point. But of course, compared to an LMG, the Farah 83 is going to have much better handling speeds, faster ADS times, things like that. Now, the trade-off is, compared to other assault rifles, it is a little bit slower on the handling, and it has a little bit more recoil that you need to master for those long-term engagements. Once you get that recoil down, then you're going to be able to lock down long lanes with this assault rifle, as well as have the ability to go full auto in close range and medium range. So it's a great all-around weapon.
Tell us a bit more about the LC-10.
LC-10. So the LC-10 is really cool. It's a submachine gun that excels at long-range combat. And the way that it does that, primarily, because it has an extremely fast fire rate, is that it has a higher muzzle velocity. So those SMG bullets, you might notice when you use submachine guns, because they have that lower muzzle velocity, it takes time for bullets to travel down range to hit those targets. Well, the LC-10 has a higher muzzle velocity, so those bullets are going to travel faster, get to your targets quicker, you don't have to lead as much. Fictionally, this is a weapon that was designed by the same manufacturers as the LW3 Tundra. It's been a lot of fun making kind of a submachine gun version of that weapon.
Whenever you talk about sort of like a weapon that is inspired by sort of like a class or a type, what's it like collaborating with the weapons to kind of like bring that to life? I have to imagine the process is a lot different than sort of a historical weapon.
Well, we have just an incredible weapons art team here at Treyarch. So they're always looking to give each gun, a real identity, in this case, something that we made, but that still has its own place in the game. So because we had an established weapon with the Tundra, and it had, of course, a manufacturer needs to make that weapon. Manufacturer's not just going to make one weapon. So we're always looking for the story behind each gun, and each weapon is its own unique story, and it's important for it to have that individual identity.
Well, when it comes to telling stories, or weapons telling stories, what kind of story would the Shadow Hunter tell us?
The R1 Shadow Hunter is a 1980s version of the crossbow. So you might recognize that name as a predecessor for what was...
Que la pizarra. Coño, pero si me hiciste quitar, te lo envié en Instagram.
It's been a lot of fun making kind of a with three Tundra. It's been a lot of fun making kind of a submachine gun version of that weapon.
Whenever you talk about sort of like a weapon that is inspired by sort of like a class or a type, what's it like collaborating with the weapons team to kind of like bring that to life? I have to imagine. And it's going to be stealth. It's going to be quiet. For weapons telling stories, what week? It's
a lot of fun tools for everybody from in a black that shot highest damage sniper rifle in Cold War firing large rifle. And these are projectile bullets. 3 Shadow Hunter, and it's in this case something that we made, but that still has its own place in the game. So because we had an established weapon with the Tundra, and it has, of course, the manufacturer needs to make that weapon. Manufacturer's not just going to make one weapon. So we're always looking for the story behind each gun, and each weapon is its own unique story, and it's important for it to have that individual identity.
Well, when it comes to telling stories, or weapons telling stories, what kind of story would the Shadow Hunter tell us?
The R1 Shadow Hunter is our 1980s version of the crossbow. So you might recognize that name as a predecessor for what would later become the Shadow Claw crossbow in Black Ops 3. This is where it started with the R1 Shadow Hunter. This is a crossbow that's perfect for the jungle. It's going to be stealth. It's going to be quiet, manually operated. You can retrieve your blades. And these are projectile blades that are going to kill directly on impact anywhere on the body. Now, to combat that, because it could be, something you get in one shot, we want to provide a counter for everything whenever we can. So if you have armor equipped, you will survive that hit. And this is just a classic storied weapon in Call of Duty history, and we have to make sure that we always have a crossbow in a Black Ops game.
Also coming in season is a new sniper rifle. It's the ZRG 20mm, correct?
So the ZRG 20mm, yes, it's in the name, 20mm. It's a pretty massive ordnance to be firing, larger than any other sniper rifle in the game. So, as you might imagine, this is the highest damage sniper rifle in Cold War. This is going to kill enemies anywhere above the waist. So you get that shot on target with this thing, and it's good night. So this is pretty scary to put out a big sniper rifle like this that's this powerful. We have a lot of skilled snipers out there. So on the flip side, you're going to have to make sure that shot counts. You're only going to get 3 shots in a magazine, which is how these rifles were actually manufactured. Those rounds are massive, so to carry around more than 3 in a magazine is just too heavy. So there's 3 rounds in a magazine, and the rechamber time is it takes longer than the other sniper rifles. So we'll be keeping a close eye on the balance after it comes out. But this thing is an absolute beast. It looks absolutely menacing in your hands, and it's going to sound menacing as well. We hope you enjoy this one.
Well, also in season, it sounds like the team is delivering some melee items, including a machete and an E-tool.
Of course, if we're going to the jungle, you have to have a machete. It's a necessity. Now, the machete has some unique melee properties. It has a long stab when you are getting an attack on an enemy. Now, the trade-off there is that it's slower to swing. So while much like the sniper rifle, while it's more powerful and has more range, you're going to want to make sure that you engage that melee attack at just the right time so that you don't have a missed attack that takes longer to re-engage. Other than that, the machete is perfect for the jungle and for getting those close encounters.
So, Tony, earlier the Zombies crew was talking about this new score streak that's coming to Season 2. If I'm not mistaken, we've got the Death Machine on the way.
Yeah, I think the 80s broke the record for most miniguns in movies of a decade, so of course we have to bring the Death Machine back. It's also a Black Ops staple, as many of our fans know. For some personality, we added an ammo can and a feed bag on the bottom, just to give it a little bit more heft and weight in first person, a little bit of a unique look, but it's going to feel as powerful and menacing as ever. Now, as a score streak, for anyone that may not know this, when you're using a score streak weapon, then any kills that you get will count towards your score streak multiplier, and you'll continue to get more score for every next kill in that line. Of course, the trade-off there is if you die with the score streak weapon in your hands, then you lose it. It's a high risk, high reward, super satisfying weapon to use. As the Death Machine, we have to get it right every single time, and I believe we've done so this time.
All right. Well, let's switch gears. Let's talk about maps and modes. Let's bring in Matt into the conversation. Matt, let's talk about some stuff that's available launch week, starting with the 66 experience Apocalypse. What's going down?
Sure. Hi, John. Let's talk about Apocalypse. Fictionally for Apocalypse, we're actually raiding Naga's stronghold, and we're trying to find that damn Adler, who's always up to his hijinks, and still trying to find out, trying to find some clues about the Nova 6 threat that seems to be continually looming. It's a 6v6 map, so it is on the smaller side, but there's a lot of different ways to find enemies and engage. There's some really interesting connectivity paths throughout the map, so you're going to be able to go through the really cool temples. You've got little candles set up and connecting paths to the center. You can barrel straight down the middle dirt road, and then you've got the huts. So the huts are up on stilts. You can kind of make your way through there, and it's a bit of a safer path. And then we've got some really interesting flank routes where there's been a chopper that's been down. So you'll be able to flank through that chopper and hopefully get behind your enemy and get a nice advantage on them.
So if 6v6 scratches that sort of smaller map itch, it sounds like we've got a bigger experience, in fact, a 40-player experience coming later in the season.
We're going to Golova. So this is one that Outbreak players are going to see on season launch, and then our high player count players will be able to experience that later in the season. Fictionally, you're going to look at this map and say, oh, that's a nice little rural Russian mountain town. The story behind it's a little more dicey, where actually these soldiers are born and bred from birth to be trained killers. Moving through the Russian town, some of the points of interest are going to be the neighborhood, which is where that density comes from. The train station, you're going to be roaming around a church, and then there's a farm which kind of the inside of the map is a bit more dense. You're going to be able to get in some closer range engagements than you may be accustomed to. But once you get kind of out the outskirts, that's where you may want to take one of those fancy snipers and see if you can land a few shots. The importance for us was to create a very different type of gameplay than you may have seen in the maps like Ruka or Alpine or our previously released Season 1 Sanatorium, which, Sanatorium, just to speak on that, we saw a lot of positive sentiment on that. So that continue the feedback, because that does help us, that does inform us where we go next.
Alright, so a lot of people have been calling for Big Bubba's execution after what he did yesterday. Goldfish egg release. Look at all those eggs. Big Bubba is a mean male goldfish and abuses female goldfish. Update. So as you know, Big Bubba here was chasing around a female goldfish earlier today, knocking the heck out of her, really stressing her out. So I took the 5 males and put them in one tank and put the 3 females in another tank, and I'm keeping the males completely isolated until they just chill out. They're too crazy. And I was kind of getting...
BF is really sad. BF is really sad.
No, es que los carrazos de UPS ni siquiera tenían aire acondicionado.
Tell me your parents spoiled you growing up? Hey, I got you. I'm gonna show you something that interests you, man, because in England, we cannot get this happen. Go on. This is called Capo Colo. Of course we sell Capo Colo. Just learn to speak English, you donut. Yeah, because you don't try. You've never been shopping down the supermarket. Stay out of Iceland. Turn the gas up. No, it needs to be hotter. You're boiling the meat. Gino, you're boiling your meat. What, 2 minutes each side? They're cut so thin. Oh no, come on. How big's that pan? You showering that thing? Capo Colo? Oh no, why are you seasoning like that, you donut? No, what are you doing? No, okay, turn the gas out. They're going to be overcooked now. That's not the way. No! No! How many times have I told you? Listen to me, Gino! I'm going to show you something that interests you, man. Give me one thing that I've actually spoiled. The last.
Pedro,
Tell me your name.
yo creo que la película de Spider-Man va a ser primero que la de Black Widow. ¿Qué? Que creo que la película de Spider-Man va a ser primero que Black Widow.
That's actually I can't hide from the facts anymore. We're losing followers. That's actually a really good question. So to fix that, we're going to give away $1,000 to someone who follows us and comment on this.
Tell me your parents spoiled you growing up without telling me your parents spoiled you growing up. I'll go first. So my parents thought that I wasn't opening enough gifts as a kid. So to fix that, they got a divorce. And now I get to celebrate every holiday twice. Once at my mom's, once at my dad's. It's the best.
I've asked you to simply make it smaller. Okay, sir, that's what we're trying to do, but honestly, it's impossible. Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. I've asked you to simply...
What's Brian doing? Oh my God!
He's violating sea breeze. No, he's just awkwardly positioning himself. Now he's violating sea breeze.
What's Brian doing? Oh my God!
He's violating sea breeze. No, he's just awkwardly positioning himself. Now he's violating sea breeze.
Boys, you're not gonna believe this. I just downloaded the season 2 update, and I was trying to do the jump, and I just saw this, boys. This is what I saw.
No! Fuck! Shit!
Bro, this isn't even funny.
Catch him off guard, so... Wait, get pinche...
Joseph be like,
Carl, what are you doing?
Nerd map.
All right, Kayla, this is your birthday cake, baby. Look at that. Aww. Look at that. Birthday cake or volcano, somebody call it volcano. Or choo-choo train, right? Yeah. In my country, we just call it an onion. Okay, we put fire. All right, Kayla.
If you sneeze and I say God bless you, the only thing you should say is thank you. I don't need to hear all of this. How did you get in my house? Why is my window broken? I'm calling the police. Ain't nobody got time for that. If you...
Kelly, he wanna pop out. I wanna rock out, call when I'm in town. What do you mean? I don't want your man. My IG just...
You woke up this morning and found out that my account was banned on TikTok. And I know many of you are jumping for joy and thinking that this is a great victory. Somehow, it makes you smile to know that an animal rights you will up this morning and found out
So much has changed since my girlfriend told me we were having a baby. For instance, my name, address, telephone number.
This is the new most broken strat in Warzone. You need to sacrifice one of your teammates. By that I mean they need to pick up a most wanted contract. Once they have that most wanted contract, camp in a house or a dark area. You then want to hide underneath a bunch of loot to make it look like a dead body. This is exactly how it turns out. Full credit to the meme lord himself, Ben Jammins.
I don't know where my calisthenics are. I don't know where my calisthenics are, otherwise I would stack them.
Pedro, mira tu TikTok sobre eso.
Them roaches be clubbing.
Mira, por aquí. ¡Qué hijo de puta! ¿Qué se hace? Pedro, imagínate que te hagan eso, no jodas, no se hace, pobre, esos pobres tipos tuvieron que gastar los pantalones 5 veces corrida. Ese hombre se cayó, se lo hagan, pero que no vuelva. Y ya bien,